Hi, I'm Christy. I want to talk to you today about my oldest son's journey. He was born at 23 weeks, 6 days gestation. While you're trying to do the math, yes, that is 16 weeks and 1 day premature. He was 1.7 pounds at birth and 12¼ inches long. We believe that God was gracious, and 117 days later, he came home from the NICU, or the neonatal intensive care unit, which was just 3 days after his original due date. After he was born, one of the neonatologists told me that he had probably a 50-50% chance of survival. But really, it was 100-0. He was either going to make it or he wasn't. But we had a couple good indicators that he was a fighter. He tried to breathe on his own, and he peed on the dock. We see that today in that he is still stubborn and he is still a fighter because he knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And if you try and get him to change it, you're likely in for a fight. Of those 117 days, we probably visited the NICU well over 100 of them. We were advised early on, though, to take a long-term perspective because this was going to be a journey and we were continuing to work, and so we would visit him after work in the evenings. We got a phone call a few nights saying that the unit was closed down because of a rough intake or whatever reason, and so we couldn't come up. There were a few days where we were just too exhausted. And so we would stay home, but any night that we stayed home, we would call up several times during the evening to get updates on him so that we could stay in touch with what was going on. At about 1.5 years, he was diagnosed with failure to thrive. The pediatrician told us that we had to get 2.5 pounds on him in 5 months or he was going to need a feeding tube. And at that point, it seemed like an impossibility. 0.5 pound a month for 5 months in a row, I didn't see how we could do it. But we were referred to a gastroenterologist who gave us suggestions on how we could add calories to his food. And when I took him in for his second birthday well check, he was 20 pounds and 0 ounces. We made the goal with 0 ounces to spare. We were also told early on that because he was a micro-preemie, meaning he was born before 26 weeks gestation, that he was going to have issues. It was pretty much a guarantee, but we were going to have to wait for development to happen to see what they were going to be. So at about 1 year, we started early intervention services with the organization in our area. They would come to the house and they would work with him on the various issues. And then on his 3rd birthday, he started in the preschool program with our local school district that, again, worked with him to help him catch up and to get him ready for school. During that time, we were also doing private therapy. So we did physical therapy, which worked on gross motor skills. We worked on occupational therapy, which worked on fine motor skills and sensory issues. We did speech therapy, which worked on the actual speech as well as feeding issues. We did hippotherapy, which uses a horse as a tool for therapy. At our busiest, we were doing 6 sessions of therapy a week, plus everything that he got in school. Over the years, he's had a number of different diagnoses: micro-prematurity, microcephaly, meaning he has a smaller head, cerebral palsy, failure to thrive, apraxia of speech, meaning which was part of the reason that he wasn't speaking for as long as he was. The list goes on. Today, however, he's developed a very huge vehicle obsession. Anything with a wheel and wheels and a motor, he's all over. Cars, trucks, pickups, big rigs, school buses, you name it, he loves it. Watches videos on it all the time. But if you ask him a question about it, he can probably give you the right answer, which is what's so amazing to me. We're already looking at what he's going to do after high school next year. And so we're looking at trying to get him into a program that would train him for a competitive wage job, which just blows my mind. We're considering a few other options as well in case he doesn't get into that program. And some of the other options include trying to help him find a job that would be somewhere in the automotive industry because he enjoys that so much. We've been blessed with a teacher who knows the right contacts, and so he's guiding us through this process. There's a lot more that I could say. I mean, really, 117 days in the NICU and 6-ish years of therapy? Yeah, I have tons of stories. But what I really hope that this does is it gives you a peek into our lives, but more importantly, that it offers you hope and encouragement as you're on your journey. And I hope that you can get to the point where you'll agree with me that life is good and there is never a dull moment.